I aimed to answer is, if a shipment has a fixed appointment, does it have a statistically significant probability of having zero accessorial charges? So the first thing I did was, under the SO sheet, I highlighted the two fields we'll need to start, which are transportation, which has the list of transportation numbers, and these identify whether or not a shipment has a fixed appointment or a non-fixed appointment, and the accessorial costs. We're going to start with just these two fields, and hopefully as the project progresses I can look at more data. So we move this over to the SO full CSV file. This has all of the same data you just saw, transportation and accessorial costs. And then in the SO filtered CSV file, I filtered the transportation to only include the two, transportation numbers that Max indicated had fixed appointments. So we can compare their accessorial costs against all the accessorial costs for all the transportation routes and see if there's any statistically significant differences. So then I copied these values and I pasted them as values only in this field so that they would work better in R, because here the old fields with the non-relevant numbers still exist. They're just not visible. So now they're gone, and all we have are the true values. So the two fields I'm using for my data cleaning are SO full and SO filter. So we'll go to R. I added in filter as the SO filter CSV and full as the SO full CSV. Gave them both names for their headers, and then created a box plot using, or a bar plot for filter using mean and standard deviation. So as you can see, we have our mean line in the middle here. This is mean AC costs. So these are all AC costs. And then we have one standard deviation above the mean, and one standard deviation below the mean is not visible because it's below 0. So one thing I plan to do is looking at the probability of having zero accessorial costs with all the values, and possibly filtering out some of these outlier values especially. You can see we have a really large outlier here, and then a fair number of things that are above one standard deviation above the mean. And so also I plan to create one of these plots and do the same analysis with the full CSV file, so that not only can we compare the statistical differences in AC costs with and without outliers in both fields, but we can look at them against each other and see if the fixed appointments have actually helped reduce AC costs or not, compared to transportation numbers without fixed appointments.